It's 8:48. Hello, everyone. Didn't manage to do a live broadcast yesterday because I had the day off. You can't blame me. You've got to have the day off sometimes. But look, I'm here and I'm back. And I'm just going to get straight into this one because I want to talk to you about the septic tank ban. And it's Saturday and you probably want to spend the day with your family. So I'm just going to get straight into this, as I said. So lots of people asking me about something called a septic tank ban. All right, lots of people asking me about that. So I'm just going to get straight into this, right? Are all septic tanks going to be banned? The answer is no. All right, okay. Lots of people think that on the 1st of Jan, when all these new rules and regulations change, all septic tanks up and down the country are going to be banned. Load of rubbish. So regardless of what sites you read that on the internet, all septic tanks are not going to be banned. Only certain ones are going to be banned up and down the country. So what does a septic tank ban mean? If you're a septic tank owner, a sewage treatment plant owner, well, the government have basically outlined new rules and regulations, right? And these rules and regulations basically stipulate what your septic tank should and shouldn't be doing. All right, so let me just break it down into really simplistic terms. If you've got a septic tank that discharges into a watercourse, then from the 1st of Jan 2020, your septic tank will become illegal. That's what the government say. It will become illegal, all right? And what that basically means is that they can ban you from using your septic tank, all right? They just say, no, that's it, you're not using it anymore. You've got to repair it or you've got to replace it within a set amount of time. If you don't do that, then they will fine you or prosecute you. All right, that's the end result. All right, fines, I don't know, flipping heck. I mean, if it's a pollution risk, they ain't going to be cheap. Probably 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 quid, I don't know, but they'll definitely ban your septic tank. So if your septic tank discharges into watercourse, boom, that's it. People asking me, oh, this is madness, they're saying. How can they kind of regulate something like that with so many septic tanks up and down the country? Well, all that they need to do, I mean, it's all about data, right? Who has got a septic tank and who hasn't? They already know, but look, let's pretend they didn't know, right? They only need to go to all the septic tank emptying firms up and down the country and say, the government require you now by law to hand over all the addresses of all the people that you empty their septic tanks for. And so instantly they've got all the people in the country who've got septic tanks, or 99.9% of them. So that's how they're going to regulate it all. Right, so, yeah. All right, so that's the first one. Number 2, if your septic tank leaks, so let's say it's overflowing and leaking onto the lawn and there's raw sewage on your lawn. The soak away, let's say that's leaking out onto the lawn. Let's say it's leaking down onto a road or someone else's garden. So if it's leaking, it will become illegal, okay? If it is blocked, when I say blocked, it's not draining away properly. So again, the reason it could be leaking is because it could be blocked. It could be blocked and full up with fat, grease, and sludge. All right. Another reason is that it's not blocked, not draining away. So let's say it is draining away, but it's not draining away quick enough, okay? So it's not working as it should do. It's only functioning on 3 cylinders. And if that's the case, again, they can deem your septic tank illegal. And here's another one. If it's not emptied regularly. I think that's right. I never went to school. Well, my spelling, all right. It's, you got to pretend. I think that says regularly. But anyway, whether it does or it doesn't, you get my point, right? So look, if it's not emptied regularly, then the fat and the grease and the sludge will build up. And so it will be, again, deemed illegal. Now, this may seem like nuts that there's all these new laws and regulations coming in, right? Now, all these rules and regulations can be seen if you go to the government website and just type in, go to .gov, right? If you want to see all these rules and regulations, just go to .gov and type in general binding rules. There you'll see all the rules. There you'll see all those rules and regulations and more that can make your septic tank illegal. So I hope that's helped you. In the sense of, if you've got a septic tank or sewage treatment plant, to kind of prime you for if you're going to get, what I would do personally, if I had a septic tank and I didn't know anything about them, there's 2 things you can do, right? Knowing that information to preempt the situation of the 1st of Jan 2020. The septic tank emptying people, number one, will empty your tank of the fat and the grease and the sludge. Secondly, you can get them with a torch just to look in, open the lid and look in and see the integrity of the septic tank inside, if it's tired, if it's worn, if it's starting to collapse, if it's in a state of disrepair, if it needs repairing or maintaining. And that won't cost you anything apart from the empty. Or maybe you could get someone like myself. Well, I mean, I don't cover the whole country. I do site inspections, in quite a few counties, but I don't do everywhere. So it's not a, pitch for you to, get me out to your septic tank. But what I'm saying to you is, go in the yellow pages or on the internet, find an independent sewage consultant and get them, pay them. They'll charge you 100, 150 quid, 200 quid, depending on where you live. They'll come around, they'll do a full inspection of your septic tank, and they'll tell you if it's going to be compliant or non-compliant by the 1st of Jan 2020. 200 quid is a small price to pay for the fines and everything. Be very, very careful if you get a company around who repair and replace septic tanks for a living, because that's what they do for a living. And not saying everyone's like this, but many of them, there'll be bias in there and they'll say, oh mate, your tank's 50, 60 years old and, personally, I'd replace it, and they'll give you a quote for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 quid. And if you can't get an independent sewage consultant, then get at least 2 or 3 quotes off people. Do not tell them beforehand that you've had someone else round and what their report was. So then you can get a basic understanding of what needs doing or what doesn't need doing. Okay, but there's something you can do, right? There's 3 steps you can do to make your septic tank legal without having to repair or replace it. And that's why I've done this video, right? I've made this video because I want to show you something that you can do. Really, really simple fix that you can do to make your septic tank legal before the 1st of Jan, right? 2 things. Number 1, get your septic tank empty. All right, we've just discussed that, but that's number 1. Suck all the grease and the fat and the sludge out. Number 1. and then if the government control inspector comes around, you can tell him you've had it emptied just recently, and get it emptied twice a year. That's my recommendation to you, to keep it tip top. All right. But number two, and this is even more important than number one, but that is, if you've got fat grease and sludging and it's starting to cause problems or is causing problems, then that will basically give you some breathing space by doing that. But number two is actually more important. And I can't recommend this solution enough to you. Get yourself, right, a government compliance form. Get yourself a government compliance form. Now, a government compliance form basically is a template that the government created. It outlines what tank, it's basically a big template, and they've left lots of blanks in it. And you've got to put what system you've got, the capacity of it, how often you get it emptied, how often you get it maintained, how often you've had it serviced and you've had it emptied. And when you get this government compliance form, you put one in your kitchen or your utility room, and you hand one to your solicitor. And so when the government inspector comes around, you just hand him the certificate and say, there you go. And he'll say, okay, very, very good, okay. And it outlines your whole system. It shows him that you're responsible. He'll hand it to you back. He'll say, great. It'll also save you thousands and thousands of pounds when you come to sell your property. The solicitors representing the people buying your property will ask you what septic tank you've got. They'll ask you for a government compliance form. Most people say, I haven't got one. What is it? They'll say, don't worry about it, no problems. Then they'll get someone around to do a septic tank site inspection. They'll come back and they'll say, well, you've got an old tank, it looks tired, it looks worn. We're very happy, my clients are very happy to buy your property if you reduce the house price by the cost that it's going to cost them to put a new septic tank and soak away in, okay? And that can be anywhere from 7,000 to 15,000 quid. If you've got one of these and you hand it to their solicitor, he'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, they've got that system. They've had it for that long. They do that to it. Fine. So this form will save you 15,000 quid and more, 10,000, 5,000. Whatever it saves you is better than flipping nothing, isn't it? Where can you get a government compliance form from? Well, if you go to septictank.co.uk, you can get one for free. I used to charge 300-400 quid for these forms because the template is something that's hard to get hold of, and it's a service that many people provide, but I've actually thought, stuff it, with all these new rules and regulations coming into force, I'm actually going to give it away free. So if you actually go to, well, I'm not going to write it, well, yeah, okay, I'll write it on the board as well, but if you go to septictank.co.uk, right, on the top left-hand side of the website there, you'll see it says about the septic tank ban, how to beat the septic tank ban, and then and that's where you can get your government compliance form from. There's no con, there's no catch. I don't want your card details. I don't want any money off you, etc., etc. Just go on there, click it, and download as many forms as you want, right? You only need 2, but if you've got neighbors and they want some, then please help yourself and download as many as you want. So yeah, so there you go. There's some good free tips for this Easter weekend. Get yourself a government compliance form and get your septic tank emptied. You'll save yourself a lot of hassle before the septic tank ban comes into force. So there you go. So I'm going to shoot now, and I don't quite know what I'm going to do today, but it isn't going to be a lot. Just going to have the day off with the wife and take her out and just have a nice time. Like you, I work hard, and it's just nice to turn off for a couple of days. So listen, thank you very much for watching this live broadcast. I hope it helped. Hope it's helped. If you need any free advice, any free help whatsoever, just go to septictank.co.uk. I'll help you as best I can. I'm an independent sewage consultant. I work for the government. I consult for the government, for the government agencies such as UK Building Regs. I help them out. So, this is what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 20 years. I love it. And if I can help you for free to make your septic tank compliant before the 1st of Jan 2020, then that makes me over the moon, and obviously it'll help you too. So listen, thanks a lot for watching this broadcast, and I will speak to you soon.